Hello everyone, Grimly here and welcome back to the channel. Alright, tier 6 and tier 8 are finally fully revealed and we are only a couple of days away from the start of this league. And this is where things actually get serious. Up until now, most of the relics were kind of straightforward. You look at them and you're like, okay, yeah, this one is just better. But these tiers are actually pretty interesting. Because none of these are just more damage or free stats, they all completely change how you play the game. Like depending on what you pick here, the whole league is gonna feel different from that point on. And the worst part is, all of these are actually pretty good. So it's not even an easy choice. So first up, you've got the tier 6 relics. Grimoire, Eternal Sustenance and Killing Spree. Three completely different playstyles. And for tier 8, most people were looking at Minion, maybe Flask of Fervor, and that was kind of it. But now, Executioner comes in and just says, yeah, the last 20% of the boss just doesn't exist anymore. And that completely changes how you look at this tier, because now you're choosing between constant damage, clutch survivability, or just straight up skipping the hardest part of a fight. And depending on what you pick, you're either gonna melt bosses or take way longer than you should. So yeah, in this video I'm gonna break them down and help you figure out which one is actually worth taking. So let's get into it. So first up, we have Grimoire. This relic gives you the Arcane Grimoire, which lets you freely swap spellbooks and also act as a Book of the Dead. But the real power here is this. You unlock all prayers and spells regardless of area or requirements. Yeah, that's kind of insane. This means ancient magics anywhere, lunar spells anywhere, standard spellbook utility at all times, and every prayer in the game unlocked instantly. No need for grinding, no region locks, nothing. This is basically the ultimate flexibility relic. You can freeze with ancients, vengeance with lunars, use trolls with archeers, and swap prayers instantly for any situation. And for PvM, that kind of adaptability is ridiculous. But it doesn't directly increase your damage or sustain. So while it feels powerful, it relies on you actually making use of all that flexibility. Next up, we have Eternal Sustenance. So this one has a simple effect. Food is no longer consumed when eaten. So yeah, you get infinite healing, infinite supplies, no need for food management ever again. This is the definition of comfort and survivability. You can camp bosses forever, ignore supply costs, tank mistakes without punishment, and learn content safely. For newer players or risky PvM, this is insanely strong. But here's the catch, it gives you 0 damage increase. So while you won't die, you also won't kill things any faster. And in leagues, where speed is points, that matters a lot. And finally, we have Killing Spree. This one is for the PvM grinders. When you get a Slayer task, you can pick from 3 options, choose how many to kill, 5 to 200, always get at least one boss task option, so this is already really strong. But then it has some extra Slayer bonuses. It has a 50% extra chance for an extra superior to spawn. Superior monsters always drop between 1 and 3 elite clue scrolls. Slayer helmet bonuses are always active, while on task you get free Slayer reward perks, and you also on top of that get free wound pouch, herb sack and looting bag. So this is where people are really sleeping on. The relic is amazing for clue scrolls, because you're killing way more enemies, getting more superior spawns and doing constant Slayer tasks. You'll naturally generate a ton of clues, which means way easier task completions and extra points, so this isn't just a PvM relic, it's also a task progression machine. This is basically Slayer on steroids. And then on top of that, you've got clues that give even more points. So this relic is all about efficiency and speed. You'll kill faster, get more loot, get more boss tasks, complete more tasks through clues, and progress way further into the league. But outside of Slayer, it doesn't really do a lot extra. Alright, so which one should you actually pick? If your goal is fast progression, PvM efficiency and leaderboard pushing, I feel like Culling Spree is going to be the strongest relic for you. It directly translates into more kills, more loot and more points. If you want maximum versatility, access to everything instantly, and creative builds and combos, Grimoire is gonna be insanely fun and powerful in the right hands, but it requires more skill to fully utilize. And in third, if you hate dying, want stress-free gameplay and are learning bosses, and you're new to the game, Eternal Sustenance is going to be the safest pick by far. But it will slow your progression compared to the others. Alright, so we need to talk about what got revealed today. Because this last relic, this is what actually flips the entire tier. We got Executioner, and it's way simpler than people expected. Anything below 20% HP, you can execute it, from range up to 6 tiles away. So instead of adding more damage over time, this relic just removes the end of the fight completely. Because before today, this tier was basically, minion is probably the best, 3 damage, no effort, and always active. Then you had Flask as more of a survivability burst option. But now Executioner comes in and completely changes the comparison. So let's look at Executioner versus Minion. Minion is constant DPS, always doing something and good in every situation. Executioner on the other hand, it's not really anything until it suddenly becomes insane. Because the last 20% of a fight, that's usually where bosses get faster, hit harder and become more annoying. And this relic just skips that entirely. So instead of slowly finishing fights, you just end them. Now when we look at Executioner versus Flask, Flask gives you survivability, burst and a reset button. While on the other hand, Executioner gives you consistency in ending fights faster. No cooldowns, no timing, no setup. Just boss hits 20%, it's basically dead. So Flask is more clutch, while Executioner is more reliable value every single kill. So before today, this tier felt kinda predictable. Now, it's actually a real decision, because you're choosing between Minion, which is best overall passive DPS, Executioner, which is fastest and safest finishes, and Flask with the highest clutch potential. And depending on what content you're doing, any of these could actually be the best. So yeah, now that Executioner is in the mix, this tier is way closer than people thought. So for my final thoughts, tier 6 is honestly one of the best designed tiers so far. There's no obvious wrong choice here, and it all depends on how you want to play. If you want to sweat and grind, go Culling Spree. Want freedom and creativity? Pick Grimoire. Want comfort and consistency? Go Eternal Sustenance. And for tier 8, because this isn't just pick the highest DPS relic, it's literally deciding where your power comes from. You've got Minion, which is just constant free damage the entire fight, Executioner that removes the hardest part of most fights, or Flask that gives you full control when things get messy. And the thing is, all 3 of these are strong enough to be the best, just in completely different situations. Like if you're just grinding PVM non-stop, Minion is probably gonna be the most consistent. If you hate drawn out fights and annoying final phases, Executioner is actually insane value. And if you want that safety net and burst for harder content, Flask can carry you through stuff you probably shouldn't survive. And that's why these tiers are so good. Because it's not obvious, it's just what do you personally value more? Consistency, speed at the end, or control? And honestly, I don't think there's a wrong pick here. But there is a pick you'll regret if it doesn't match your playstyle. So yeah, it's actually kind of insane. Because no matter what you pick here, you're giving something up. You go Culling Spree, you're locked into Slayer, but your progression is gonna be crazy fast. You go Grimoire, you get insane flexibility, but only if you actually use it properly. And if you go Eternal Sustenance, you're basically unkillable, but everything's gonna take longer. There's no perfect pick here, it's just what kind of league do you want to play. And after today's reveal, this tier is actually way closer than it looked at first. Because now Executioner adds a completely different angle. It's not just do I want more damage, it's where do I want that damage. Do you want consistent DPS the entire fight with Minion, a full reset and survivability with Flask, or just skip the last 20% completely with Executioner? And the more I think about it, Executioner might actually be the most underrated one here, because a lot of bosses get way more annoying at the end of the fight, and this just removes that. But I want to know, what are you guys choosing? And more importantly, why? Drop it in the comments down below, and if you're still deciding, hopefully this video helped you out a little bit, make the decision a little bit easier. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, feel free to like and subscribe, and in a few days I will be live on Twitch, streaming my progress for this league. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.